朋友们，大家早上好、午安、晚上吉祥。我是今天的
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm today's host. I'm Dharma assistant Lianyi. I am from Brazil. Today is the 9th of June. And this class is available in 3 languages: Chinese, English, and Indonesian. Today we share chapter 2, lesson 12, which is entering to oneself and oneself entering into. Welcome all masters, senior reverends, Dharma assistant, or fellow disciples to Zoom class. If it's convenient for you, please turn on your video and please rename yourself with your Dharma name. Turn on your video so that we get to know you better, and we are sure you'll be able to concentrate better. And if you have any questions or thoughts that you have taken down, you can ask them after the class. We have a Q&A session. Gentle reminder to all, we will be having our homework review, the second homework review on June 16th. And Master Lianyi will be the reviewer. And for those of you who have yet to submit your homework, do so as soon as possible. Honor the Guru, treasure the Dharma, and cultivate diligently. So take the precept as a teacher. Dear Long is going to share PPT now. So to cultivate, practice diligently is yoga, and yoga means entering to samadhi, or Buddha Dhamma is was prepared because to prepare us to enter to samadhi. And me as the guru, I can say that I'm here to teach how to enter to samadhi. I'm here in the samsara because I want to teach people how to enter into samadhi. My lineage transmission is samadhi, as the wisdom of the Tathagata, as the radiance of the universe. I'm sure a lot of class, many students have attended the cultivation practice conducted by Master Lianyi, and I'm sure many of them have benefited from the practice.
我这里看到的是一才讲师
all fellow disciples slowly entering the Zoom classroom. Hello to everyone who is coming or who are coming in.
助教，我这里看不大清楚这个号。玉校助教，还有雨华助教您好，芬丽助教您好，薛德好助教您好，月华助教，阿弥陀佛，可能师姐您吉祥，燕芬助教晚上好，宝瑞莹助教晚上好，国伟讲师晚上好，尚明师姐吉祥，慧心师姐晚上好，彩
Do
虹
turn on your videos if possible so that we can interact with each and every one of you.
晚上好，还有 Betty 师姐您好，这马来西亚的莲花后面名字看不见了哈，您好，好，月老弟梦，晚上好，新的讲师晚上好，还有华为 Nova 师姐还是师兄您好，啊，以及线上的所有的上师、讲师，还有教授师、法师、助教，所有的来自世界各地的莲花童子们，大家吉祥，大家早上好，午安，欢迎参加今天的课程。在密法的修法仪轨中，最核心的就是定部分，就是我们说的入三摩地。
Today's class will be on entering into oneself and oneself entering into.
今天的入我入，就是练习归于一的方法，是让自己与佛菩萨之间的合一，是入三摩地最核心的部分。上一节
So the call of entering to samadhi is to able to achieve union with the main deity.
做的一个非常重要的准备。这一节课我们将进入正行的核心部分。
We will be covering the main practice of the sadhana during this lesson.
准备恭请佛学
Let's
深厚的
welcome our lecturer, Master Lianyi.
为我们讲授今天的课程。入我入。好，我们欢迎莲一上师。
Let's welcome my lecturer, Master Lianyi.
大家以热烈的掌声欢迎莲一上师和大家打招呼。
是的，阿弥陀佛，我们在等待上师的当儿，大家
waiting for Master.
对，请大家稍微等一下。
Master is not online yet, so let's wait for a little.
都非常精彩。
The classes delivered Master Ali are truly exciting, and his lessons are peppered with very inspirational stories.
大家都有开始练习了吗？
Has everyone started applying what we have learned during the last lesson, which is a nice cycle breathing exercise?
是的，龙岩助教，我们在等待上师上线的当儿，因为我们联合上师也在线上，目前联合上师的每个星期
Master Lianyi is online
教授
right now.
尊所传授的这个入禅定的法门，我们可以请联合上师为我们
Maybe we can get Master Lianyi to share some piece about on entering to samadhi. Welcome, Master Lianyi. Amitabha.
这个是临时考试吗？
Is this last minute exam?
谢谢联合上师。
哦，
Master Lianyi is online now. My savior is here.
刚好，
刚好
You're just in time.
绝对准时的，太厉害了。
You're definitely punctual, Amitabha.
那我就 我就不用做长篇大论了哈。
啊，可以啊，联合上师开示一下。
没有，刚才他们让我来这个考试啊，那就交还给主持人啊，还有联谊上师。
好，下面我们以热烈
Stage 2 Master Lin. Let's welcome our lecturer for today, Master Lianyi. First, let's put our palms together. Let's put our palms together and pay homage to the root and lineage hero, Living Buddha Lianshan, past lineage gurus of the true Buddha schools, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Dharma protectors of the shrine. The Honorable Chairman, Master Chen Chu, Education Director, Master Lian He, PR Director, Master Lian Jia, Master Lian Fei, or Master Senior Reverends, Reverends, Dharma Instructor, Dharma Assistants, our hosts for the day, all interpreters, all counselors, all fellow disciples, good day to Amitabha. First, I would like to apologize to everyone. I always arrive on time exactly on the dot. I remember one host ever mentioned that to arrive on the dot means you are late. We are still at chapter 2, a detailed exposition of the complete Tantric sadhana, but we are already at lesson 12, which is a visualization of the main deity entering into oneself and oneself entering into the main deity. Let's first do a recap. Question 1. In the visualization of the 9 cycle breathing exercise, what is the color of the light that is emitted from the nostrils of the Idam? Do you answer in the chat box, please? The answer is white light. Question 2. In the 3rd cycle of the 9 cycle breathing exercise, from which side of the nostril of the cultivator will light enter? Answer, both nostrils. Question 3. What does the shape of the uppermost part of the central meridian resemble? The shape of a trumpet. Let's enter into lesson 12, preface. 入我我入 it literally means enter into oneself or oneself, and oneself entering into is part of the main practice in the true Buddha Tantric sadhana, a visualization one does while entering samadhi. When we talk about ru wo, it means visualizing the main deity of the cultivation practice entering to one side, into oneself. And when we say waru, it means visualizing of oneself entering into the main deity of the cultivation practice. I'm sure for all of those who attend Master Lian class will have a good understanding of this. When you perform this visualization, you are getting closer to achieving union with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So getting closest to achieving union, this is the most important part. I remember there was one year there was a group of Taiwanese disciples who traveled to participate in the spring Dharma ceremony presided by Grandmaster. After that, Grandmaster chatted with them and asked them, where did you come from? And the disciples said, we are from Taiwan, and the flight took us more than 10 hours. And to that, Grandmaster replied, "That's very near." Fellow disciples thought that Grandmaster had heard wrongly and repeated, "Grandmaster, it took us more than 10 hours by plane from Taiwan to Seattle. It's very tiring to take the long flight." And again, Grandmaster said, "Very near." The fellow disciples still did not understand what Grandmaster was trying to convey when he said "very near." So fellow disciples will have wisdom, will understand what Grandmaster is trying to convey. In fact, what Grandmaster meant was his heart and the heart of fellow disciples are very closely related. And as long as fellow disciples have Grandmaster in their mind, Grandmaster and his disciples are never apart. So this is a very important concept in Tantrayana. So to practice Tantra, some disciples may be staying very, very far away, maybe in terms of financial or time. They're not able to make the trip to Seattle. But the most important is, as long as with Grandmaster in your mind, and always visualize Grandmaster atop your crowns. Recite the Guru Heart mantra. Grandmaster and the disciples are never apart. So if you always remember Grandmaster atop your crown, recite your Guru Heart mantra, the Dharma flow of the lineage will be perpetual. For example, when we recite the supplication for Grandmaster to remain in the Sahawa, is mentioned this as well. So the visualization of the main deity entering to oneself and oneself entering to the main deity. When your idam appears directly ahead in the void, visualize your idam shrinking to become the size of a grain of rice. Your idam starts to radiate and transform to become a bright spot. So this is a visualization for the main deity entering to oneself. Next, you visualize your idam moving atop your crown. At this point of time, you have to visualize your body becoming transparent like lapis lazuli, which is a deep blue metamorphic rock, and your central meridian is upright and passes through your body from the crown chakra through the heart chakra to the root chakra. So you visualize your idam right in front of you in the void. And which will then shrunk to become the size of a grain. And then your idam will radiate and becomes a bright spot. And then you have to visualize your idam atop your crown. And then remember, you must visualize that at the same time, visualize your body becoming transparent like lapis lazuli. If you don't know what is lapis lazuli, visualize yourself transparent like a piece of crystal. And then from your central meridian, this so your central meridian will passes through your body from your crown chakra to your heart and to your heart chakra to the root chakra. So how do you evoke the idam? Within the central meridian lies the cultivator's heart, where an 8-petal lotus has bloomed. And in the center of the lotus, there is a moon disk. Do note that this moon disk is lying flat on the lotus, looking like a plate. Within the moon disk, there is a syllable xie. Here we use Amitabha Buddha as an illustration. This sixth syllable emits white light, which ascends along the central meridian. This indicates the evoking of the idiom. This white light will ascend 3 times and evoke the idiom of the cultivator to descend. So this is but when you visualize the sixth syllable, it must be the Sanskrit syllable. We've indicated on the PowerPoint the Chinese equivalent. So you should use the Sanskrit syllable when you visualize. When we talk about the central meridian lies the cultivator's heart, we are talking about the heart chakra. And we mentioned that in the center of the lotus, there's a moon disk. I repeat that this moon disk on the lotus is lying flat on the lotus like a plate. And then the six syllables will emit white light. It will ascend upwards 3 times and to evoke the idiom of the cultivator to ascend. So now we do the visualization of the main deity entering into oneself, which is Ru Wo. At this point of time, the idiom is already atop the crown of the cultivator and descends along the central meridian till it reaches the lotus rested in the heart of the cultivator. The idiom sits on the moon disk of the lotus, which is the original rightful place, and which the cultivator now evokes the idiom to return. Just now I mentioned about your own heart. We're talking about the inherent nature, which is the your own Buddha nature. So when the sixth patriarch of Zen Buddhism attained enlightenment, he said, who would have thought one's origin, inherent nature is pure? And who would have thought one's original inherent nature neither arises nor perishes? And one's original inherent nature is in abundance. One's original inherent nature is steadfast. And last of all, one's inherent nature is able to generate thousands of phenomena. So these are the 5 phrases that the sixth patriarch of Zen Buddhism said when he attained enlightenment. So your inherent nature neither starts nor ends. So you're able to become a Buddha yourself because you have this nature in yourself. It's not something that someone gave you. And because now you have attachments, you cannot see your true self. And then we mentioned that your inherent nature is steadfast, immovable. Your heart will not be affected by external environments. For example, whether this person treats you well or not well at all. And the last one is one's inherent nature is able to generate thousands of phenomena, which means all phenomena, the root of all phenomena comes from your mind. And in this case, when we talk about generating thousands of phenomena generated by your inherent nature, they are all wholesome months. They are all kind phenomena. So I'm going to show you these 5 verses. After the idiom, which is the size of a grain of rice, starts to grow gradually to the idiom size is exactly the same as that of the cultivator. At this moment, in an instant, with just a flick of a finger, the cultivator becomes one's idiom. This is the visualization of Ru Wo. That is the idam entering into oneself. The idam is now in union with the cultivator. There is no difference between the idam and the cultivator. So when you cultivate, when you practice this, you always have to do this visualization. You can take a Buddha image, your favorite Buddha image. For example, your idam is Avalokiteshvara. You have the fire Buddha image that give you Dharma joy, and you have to keep looking at it often. And the more you look at it, the easier it will be for you to visualize.
慢慢变大的时候呢，你才容易的去观想，不然呢，你变来变去就不知道。
If not, you might become fickle-minded if you don't have a fixed Buddha image. So your daily cultivation is very important. Find a Buddha image that you like a lot, and this will help a lot with your visualization of the idam entering into oneself. 我入 visualization of oneself entering into the main deity. Here, the cultivator visualizes oneself smaller and entering into the heart of the idam. This is oneself entering into the idam and reaching a completely identical state. The cultivator visualizes oneself becoming one's idam, achieving union. And you have to visualize your appearance as that of the idam, like having a hairband, eyes and ears of a Buddha. You're also wearing heavenly robes and sitting on the lotus throne. Your appearance is extremely auspicious and dignified.
本尊在你的头顶，然后进入本尊的心中。那么我觉得另外一个观想，就像莲鹤上师上次有讲到
another visualization which Master Lianyi has mentioned. It is fair. The visualization is shared very easy to understand. And once you have yourself have entered into the idam, you must visualize yourself getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Once you have oneself have entered into the idam, stay still and visualize you as getting bigger and bigger, as big as the sky. So this is another way of visualizing oneself entering into the idam. So the visualization process. The visualization of the main deity entering into oneself and of oneself entering into the main deity, it starts with very sketchy, vague, concise thoughts till they become the most detailed and refined visualization. The body of an ordinary being is considered to be very, very unrefined in Tantric Buddhism. When you are at the finale of your cultivation, your body and mind become refined. The unrefined mind becomes the most refined state. So the true Buddha Tantric in terms of cultivation, it's important. So when we first started cultivating, we have not started cultivation. Our body is very unrefined. But as long as you are diligent and cultivate diligently, your original unrefined body will become very refined. I remember meeting a fellow disciple when I visited the chapter during Dharma propagation. He gave me an offering sincerely. I chatted with him and felt that he's very courteous and respectful.
为什么有恭敬心呢？他来
Why
给
is
你
it that he's respectful? Because I say he kneeled down to give me his offering. Actually, he doesn't have to do it, but he did. So I chatted with him for a little while. I feel that he is very sincere, very respectful. Later, a fellow disciple told me that he was a gang leader.
黑社会的老大，你知道黑社会的老大都是要经常打打杀杀的嘛，都是。
As and we all know that as a gang leader, they do a lot of fighting. So as a gang leader, he has a very unrefined body, which through his cultivation changed completely and turned over a new leaf when he took the cultivation path. And actually, I can't tell superficially of the experiences that he had gone through. So he had transformed from a very unrefined body. He made changes to himself and has become has a very refined body. So this is something very extraordinary about the true Buddha Tantra. So everyone wears Dharma robes and uniforms during a cultivation. Have you think about it? When you're not wearing your Dharma clothes or Dharma robes, would people, would outsiders know that you are a cultivator? And there are some fellow disciples say it's the most difficult to deliver your own family. Because at home, you know your family so well, all the bad habits, all the propensities, your family members will know. But if you cultivate the true Buddha Tantra at a cultivation venue and generate compassion and wisdom, you might change. True Buddha Tantra is very extraordinary. How do you influence your family? You should influence them from your behavior, your speech, the changes that your transformation from cultivating. You don't really have to speak too much in that case because your speech and behavior clearly shows that you have transformed. Visualizations are the same. At the beginning, they're very big, but in the end, they became detailed. When your cultivation is at the most refined and you're in a state of single-mindedness, mental power will start to generate. There's a story I would like to share with you. So in Taiwan, there's a very famous author. His name is Lin Qingxuan. When Lin was younger, he didn't have a kind heart. When he was in the second year of his high school, he was a very stubborn and naughty student. And he had already received 2 demerit points. And many teachers have given up hope on him. Except for his room master who told him, I have taught in this school for 50 years. I can tell immediately you're not a rebellious student. You can achieve great things in life. After hearing what his room master had said, he was touched. From that day onwards, he totally transformed. He worked hard to become a useful member of society. And in the end, he became a famous Taiwanese war author. He first became a reporter and then he became an author. He also wrote an article when he was a reporter. Let me share this with you. He had to write an article on a theft. He felt that the thinking and mode of operation of the thief was very meticulous and wrote at the end of the article, he felt that this thief is very smart. At the end of his article, he wrote, with such meticulous thinking and dexterity, this thief would have made it big in any profession without being a thief. He would have made it big regardless of what trade he picked up. When the thief saw this sentence, he again, he transformed. And 20 years later, he became a well-known entrepreneur. He met up with Lin Qingxuan and told him, your words changed my life back then. And it made me think that in addition to being a thief, I can also do proper and legitimate things. So I feel that people can change. It doesn't matter what kind of people you are, whether you have bad propensity, you steal or whatsoever, possible to change. So what is yoga and Tantra, Ariana? Tantric visualizations draw Buddhas from far away to become closer to a cultivator as one practices. This relationship becomes more and more intimate till the Buddhas are seated atop the cultivator's crown. And the final visualization is when the cultivator achieves union with one's idam. So this is yoga. So yoga means achieving union. The word yoga is originally Sanskrit and means spiritual union. It refers to the idam entering the heart of the cultivator and the cultivator entering the heart of the idam. The state where there is no difference between the idam and the cultivator is called yoga. This is the visualizations of the idam entering into oneself, Ru Wo, and of oneself entering into the idam Wo Ru, where the idam and cultivator are in union. So I was in Vancouver for a long time. So I was attached to this chapter Pu Tuo Tang. It's called Yoga Center. So there were a lot of devotees who will visit this chapter. They always ask, is this a yoga center? Can I come to learn yoga? And I have to slowly explain to him or her, explain to them. At the beginning, I told them, yes, there's yoga to be learned. So the 7 chakra exercise is the kind of yoga. And I invite them to join us to experience, because the yoga that we're practicing helps to make you healthy. In fact, at the end of the day, the most important is the yoga of the mind, which is achieving union with the idam. I think it's very easy to achieve union with Avalokiteshvara. When I talk mind of the idiom, I mean transforming your mind, transforming your heart into the it is like that to that of Avalokiteshvara with compassion and kindness, with bodhicitta. So your heart slowly, your mind slowly transform into that, similar to the heart of Avalokiteshvara. And these people who join slowly have a realization of what I was trying to convey. So these are expedient methods, and I encourage them to recite the I King Sutra 1,000 times. And I told them that you will see a transformation. You feel that it's different after 1,000 times. So in Chinese, it's saying that you will know whether the water is cold or hot only if you drink it. Only you yourself will know it.
你知道我们有一个印度的医生，印度医生呢
And there is this Indian surgeon who started laughing yoga in 1995. So can you imagine? There's a yoga for laughing. So your laughing is in union or connects with your body. So what are the advantages of the laughing yoga? There are many advantages. And because you laugh heartily, it creates a very positive energy. And for people who are experiencing stress, emotions, emotions problem, anxiety, insomnia, depression, migraines, the laughing yoga helps with these conditions. So there's this doctor in. So people who go to this club find that their conditions are greatly relieved when they do the laughing yoga. In Taichung Hospital, Dr. Liao Zhiying, he started a laughing yoga club, which was targeted at cancer patients. Every day he will share to say that if you are sick, there's a method to help you elevate your pain. This is laughing. At the beginning, you think that cancer patients can laugh, but he kept encouraging them, and he do this laughing yoga with these patients. They started with very insincere laughing, and later on they became real hearty laughs. 70% of this cancer patient saw changes in their anxieties, saw a reduction in their anxiety problems, anxiety conditions, and were able to face life more positively. So no matter what situation you come across, it's important to have a good, stable emotion to help you exceed from this difficult situation. From my own personal experience, I have a realization, and I would like to share this with you. When I was in Vancouver, there was a fellow disciple who had cancer. Long story short, he was at the end terminal stage of his cancer. The doctor wrote a letter to a hospice. At the hospice, there is no doctors, there's only nurses, and if you're in pain, you will just take painkillers. So this fellow disciple went to the hospice, and we know that when you enter the hospice, you will usually die within 2 weeks. But this fellow disciple, when he entered the hospice, I will visit him. His father and me will visit him every Friday and have a meal together, and we'll chat or take a walk. Every Friday, I will be there, and I will encourage him so that he have a stable emotions. And I was thinking, I would just get to visit him maybe 2 times or 3 times the most before he will leave us. Do you know how long the fellow disciple was there? He was there for a year. He was in the hospice for 1 year. When he was there, he wanted to discuss with him. He said that we're limited base in the hospice, and you're here for almost a year. So the hospital chief told him, why not you return home? Because you're still here after such a long time. And he didn't have a choice, so he went home. And till now, he's still alive. So it's really a miracle. During New Year, he could even drive himself to Putor chapter and look for me, and we chatted a bit. And I told him, your life is given by Grandmaster, and is being saved, and your life is given by Grandmaster, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And for the rest of your remaining life, you must use the remaining of your life to help others. And because you're still alive, there must be a mission that you have to carry out. You have to help Grandmaster to propagate the Dharma. Use your experience to share. Use experience to share with other patients on how stable emotions are very important. Because at the hospice, the hospital chief mentioned, from our records, there are only 2 persons who walked out of this hospice. The first was a Westerner. The second person is you. Don't you think that the true Buddha Tantra is extremely extraordinary? I encourage him to recite the Guru Heart Mantra and the High King Sutra. So I want to relate this real experience with you to know that emotion is very important. We are now at game segment 1. Let's invite dear Lianyi to conduct the game.
是精彩的这一个课程。好，我们再来进行这个康乐时光。那我已经在
happy hour
分享了这个连接，就
I've
是
indicated a link in a chat
的这个连接，英文版以及印尼版的连接。那大家可以点击
I'm sure
各
everyone is very familiar of how to get into menti.com.
在进入的当中呢，您可以先输入您的名字，再参与。那同时，如果没看到连接，在 Facebook 或者是 YouTube 的这一个同学们呢，都可以通过浏览器到 www.menti.com 输入各方式的代码，中文有25868450，那英文有6610 5273，印尼文有32806176。那我们大概还有40秒的时间，那大家尽快进入，来输入你的名字来参与。
40 seconds to join the game.
怎么说有刺激的感觉，让你加强刚刚上师所教的课程。
The questions will help to reinforce your learning.
那我们还有大概20秒，来看一下，大家赶快输入加入这个游戏。好，再给大家等一下，也差不多了。我们都有满32个人参与了，在中文版。好，时间到，上师，我们可以开始了。
好，问题一，入我的观想。
In the visualization of Ruwa, where the main deity enters into oneself, after the idiom has shrunk to become the size of a grain of rice, what will this transform into next and enter the cultivator's heart? A seed syllable, B, a lotus, or C, a bright spot?
很多答对了，是 C。 光的。问题二，何为密教瑜伽
What is yoga in Tantrayana? A, attaining divine eyes. B, to be in union with your idam. C, to have Dharma abundance.
Wow, 哇，这个全中这个答案是 B， 与本尊合一。
The answer is B, to be in union with your idam.
再给英文，谢谢上师。我们再给英文版一点点时间，还有人还没回答。好了，我们就大家回答好，我们再看看一下我们的
answer. Let's look at our scoreboard for this first game segment.
我们大概有谁领先？
For the Chinese scoreboard,
我们有仙女。
very
仙女
yes in first place.
印尼版有谁？仙女相反
Indonesians on the Indonesian scoreboard we have
领先。
恭喜哈丁女。
好，再来英文版有莲花异香。
In the English scoreboard we have Dharma brother Yi Xiang.
先别关掉这一个游戏，我们待会第二环节，那交回给上师，谢谢大家。
谢谢丽人助教。
Pass the mic back to Master. The three gates and three karmas. The three gates of the body, mind, and speech of the Tathagata enter into the cultivator and replace the body, mind, and speech of the cultivator. Then the cultivator's three karmas of body, mind, and speech enter into union with the Buddha nature of the Tathagata. Only through such mutual interchanges, it is possible for one to transform these karmas and attain liberation and awakening. This is known as the three equalities that described the intimate relationship between the Tathagata and sentient beings. Through this practice, all the merits and virtues possessed by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will eventually be realized in us. It was recorded in the notebook of secret Tantra treasures. The mantra, mudra, and visualizations lead the Buddhas into my body that is entering me, leading me into the body of the Buddha that is me entering. the main deity entering into oneself and of oneself entering into the main deity is full of merits and virtues accumulated by the Buddhas during their cultivation from countless kalpas.
本尊入于行者的心中行者入于本尊的心中这一句话的意思也是这样说。接下来，何为三平等？三平等幽冥。
What is the three equalities? The three equalities are also known as the three samadhi. In Tantrayana, the body, speech, and mind are not separated. They are unified in one entity. This is the essence of the Tantric practitioner, the statement by Vajrayana Tathagata on permanence. The three equalities can be explained in detail as follows. My body is the mudra. The body is the Buddha's body. My speech is mantra. Speech is mantra. My intention is the visualization. All thoughts and my mind is that of the idam. You know, our body, when we are doing the entering into oneself and oneself entering into and of oneself entering into our speech is a mantra. So our speech is never away from reciting mantras. We must always visualize that we are our idams. We must always visualize. Our idam, so that we are always connected. We're always in union. So these three equalities means.
就是你就是要平时就是要时时的承担自己承担自己，你就是佛菩萨，就是这个很重要的。
You must always think of yourself as a Buddha. So when the three gates unify with the three equalities, which is present in the Dharma realms, then the three gates is also known as the three equalities. They are all equal. When we talk about being equal, it means you can achieve the fruit of Buddhahood. Your mind is that of the Buddha, but because you have not achieved fruition yet, we have to cultivate through Buddha Tantra to eliminate all our afflictions and attachments. In the secret Tantra, in literal translation, 体中用 or the body, school, or usage. This is a term used by the Tiantai school, is explained as follows. The Ti, the body, is the mandala. Zong, which is the school, the three samadhis, or the three equalities. And Yong, we're talking about usage, expedient means. A tantric cultivator, through the integration of the three equalities, resulted in the union of the cultivator and idam, where there is no difference between the two. This is entering of the main deity into oneself and entering of oneself into the main deity. Living Buddha Liansheng once taught disciples to attain the three samadhi, and the pit is nothing. I think Grandmaster has mentioned this quite a couple of times. The first, what was in the past was over. There is no need to think about it. The mind of the past has self-extinct. The future has not yet arrived. Neither make wishes nor generate hopes. The mind of the future to be self-extinct. The third, the present is now. There is nothing, no hatred, and love do not arise. The mind of the present is self-extinct. So this is a pit of nothing. You know that everything will pass, which Grandmaster always says. So whatever we meet in our daily life, we know that things will pass. And we shouldn't have mind of the past, the present, or future. So when there's an affinity, it will be present. And when there's none, it will not happen.
I will
always use a word to share with with disciples, humans, the phenomena. So people will pass, come and go. Phenomena will pass as well. And also material goods. You may be you may be driving a big car, having a big house, but that will pass too. So these three words, the humans, the phenomena, and your materials, if you're able to apply them, it's something that can enlighten you. You will not attachment. You will not have attachment to anything. And that's the heart of the ordinary beings. So, in your cultivation, you should learn that there's nothing major. You should have a very indifferent mind to face your daily life. You might have heard of this koan about Master Deshan Zen master. He's very proficient in the Vinaya text and very knowledgeable about various sutras, especially the Dharma Sutra. At the time, Zen Buddhism was flourishing in the southern part of China, but Master Deshan did not see as a superior approach. He once said, even if monks study for thousands of eons, it does not necessarily mean that they will attain the path of Buddhahood. He criticized the Zen masters in the South who claimed that their teachings directly points the mind, revealing one's true nature and leading to awakening. So Master Deshan was determined to raid their nest and eliminate these offsprings of demons to repay his debt of gratitude to the Buddha. So one day, carrying his manuscript of the Qinglong Shu Chao, Notes on the Blue Dragon Classic, Master Deshan left Sichuan and headed towards Lianyi in Hunan in a bold and very assertive manner. One day while on the road, Master Deshan suddenly felt extremely hungry and saw a tea shop ahead when an old man was selling baked cakes. Master Deshan went inside to buy a cake to fill his stomach. And the old woman saw Master Deshan carrying a heavy load and asked curiously, "What is inside that big bundle of yours?" And Deshan proudly replied, "It's a Qinglong Shu Zhao commentary on the Diamond Sutra." The old woman then asked Master Darshan if he was knowledgeable about the Dharma Sutra, and Master Darshan very confidently replied, yes. The old woman then asked Master Darshan if he was not, and then Master Darshan was thinking, you're just an old woman. I will not be stumped easily by you. So he said, bring it on. The old woman then challenged him with a question. In the Dharma Sutra, it says the past mind cannot be attained, the present mind cannot be attained, the future mind cannot be attained. Which mind are you seeking? Master Darshan was stunned and could not answer the question. He felt ashamed and he left with his heavy bundle of books. After this humbling experience, Master Darshan no longer underestimated Zen practitioners. He eventually arrived at Longtan, where he respectfully paid his respect to Longtan. From then on, Master Darshan continued to practice with determination and finally attained enlightenment. We ever asked Grandmaster, what do we do in this situation? Grandmaster said you should have just grabbed the cake and ate. You don't even have to answer the questions. If you're hungry, you just eat. If you're tired, you sleep. Don't think too much about it. That's the logic behind. If you're hungry, grab the cake and just eat it. I feel that being natural is the path your mind at that present moment. How to achieve the state of Anupatika Dhamma Santi, which is the wisdom of Dharma without birth, the meditation of nothing, where the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas descend from the void and become one with the cultivator, is truly authentic. From the meditation of nothing, it can be affirmed the mind of a Buddha, a liberated mind, bodhicitta, the non-arising mind, have achieved the state of wisdom of Dharma without birth. That is to say, your wisdom resides in a state of no retreat where phenomena neither arises nor perishes. When you talk about this wisdom of Dharma without birth, Reverend Yin Shun was a guru of a grandmaster. He said, he exposed on this. He said, ren, and in English it means tolerance or patience. Ren is synonymous with wisdom, and this wisdom of realization that all phenomena neither arises nor perishes is called the wisdom of the Dharma without birth. So if you have wisdom, you will know that all these phenomena are momentary, they are illusory. And he mentioned about this term called 所缘境, which is the environment of the outside, the external environment, which are just an affinity that will also pass. And what is the peat? The pit is when a deleting mind arises, be aware but do not follow. When a deluding mind is at rest, it is empty and silent. All virtues are unique and have infinite uses. A reason why your mind is disturbed because you're affected by external factors.
先体会才能够真的做到的。慢慢体会之后呢，你才能够明白哦，是真的是幻吗？是啊。
So it's important to have practical experience. Only after that you're able to relate or to all the theories.
又开始之后呢，等一下又成为虚幻了等一下这个课程结束了，那又
And an example is once after the classes ended, it's over and everyone will be back to their own routine.
妙用无穷这一句话非常重要。当精神开始守意，就会
The phrase infinite uses is very important.
就即时成长。
When your mind starts to be single-minded, you will enter into emptiness. Your Buddha Dharma journey grows instantly. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the universe welcome you with songs and dances. So when we enter into a state of emptiness, you will experience the growth of your Buddha Dharma journey. Like when you're entering into samadhi, you will have different feelings. Some will feel very light. Some will feel that firm like the mountains. So this is one of the feeling that you experience when you're in samadhi.
的一个道理。
The deities descend from the void and enter the body of the cultivator. This is a perfect experience. The source of Dharma power in your inner self is drawn out. This energy from this power starts to flow and is a very sacred experience. So as you cultivate, you will experience it. The true Buddha Tantra will give renewed power to the dejected, a new lease of life to the discouraged, positivity to those who are diligent, and encouragement and confirmation to cultivators. And it's a magnificent, dignified, and precious gathering of people in varying situations. Cultivators can use their cultivators can use their refreshed wisdom to confirm these experiences and will discover that they are in fact authentic. So from the of the true Buddha Tantra, from all the obstacles and experience that from sorry so basically the true Buddha Tantra actually help us to overcome our obstacles and difficult situations which we may have. Everyone's have their life story. So everyone their own experience, just like the story I shared just now about how this fellow disciple who went to a hospice but was still alive after 1 year, and to date he's still well. So when a person is most dejected, how did he walk out of the situation? Let me share another real story. There was a fellow disciple from Hong Kong. He bought $2 million from Hong Kong to invest in real estate. So at the beginning, he made a lot of money because the property market was hot. And as you know, when you have a lot of money, you will also have a lot of friends. When he was rich, he had many friends who wanted to be with him. So as a result, he was very, very busy every day. Later on, he invested in 2 buildings. But he encountered a financial storm. He had taken a big loan, but no one was buying the property. So he became bankrupt in the end. After he became bankrupt, his life actually just started at the lowest point of his life. All his friends left him because he's now poor. How do you think he feels? He didn't have any friends at all. Everyone has left because everyone was afraid that he might borrow money from them. And one day he met a disciple of the True Buddha school in Chinatown and advised him, when you meet with such a situation, these are all karma. He said, come learn the Buddha Dharma, take refuge in Grandmaster. He was doubtful. But when he was brought to the cultivation venue, he discovered that the people who studied the Buddha Dharma are very different from others that he saw. The fellow disciples did not look down on him, but instead kept encouraging him. So he was convinced and took refuge and started cultivating. His life started to get better, though he was not rich like before. His life was stable and his mind very peaceful.
但是也是很充实的，所以这个就是他本身
He
一个
found his current life very fulfilling. Through the cultivation, he walked out of his miserable state. In one's life journey, you gain something, you lost something. Maybe you've lost something that's really important. But maybe in another place, you'll find something even more important. Something which is even more important in your life. Maybe a kind of wisdom, the Buddha Dharma. So in life, there's gains and losses. So what you've gained may not necessarily be good, and what you've lost may not necessarily be bad. Just like the atonement, I told him, though you've lost something, you've gained something that is most precious in your entire life, which is the Buddha Dharma. He was my driver when I do Dharma propagation. And when we went past Chinatown, he pointed to me the 2 buildings that he used to own. You know what did I tell him? I told him the 2 buildings does not belong to the present owners. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't belong to everyone. It doesn't belong to anyone at all. This is just a process. So I want to encourage him. Okay, my story has ended.
确确实实
The visualization of the main deity entering into oneself and oneself entering into the main deity truly proves that light entering into me, and me entering into the light. This testimony is this testimony is difficult to describe. So to describe simply is the child light entering into the mother light or vice versa. Again, segment 2, it's a happy hour again.
谢谢上师，那我再来分享下我的屏幕。好，我再把它转去中文的，大家准备好了吗？好，上师，我们可以开始了。
问题3，莲生活佛曾
is taught by living Buddha Lianyi to his disciples to attain the 3 samadhi. What is the P? A, nothing. B, to have no intentions. C, to have no thoughts.
Answer A.
Answer is A, nothing.
问题是真佛密法将给什
Who
么
will benefit from the renewed power of the true Buddha Tantra? A, the rich. B, the dejected. C, the successful.
The B.
Answer is B. Everyone got the right answer.
谢谢上师，我们再来看一下今天有谁领先呢？
And see who's leading. On the Chinese scoreboard, we have 仙女。
你真的仙女下凡真的智慧很有智慧。
好，我们看看下印尼版将是谁呢
？Scoreboard. The winner is Dharma brother 俊雄。
好，再来是英文的，是连他。
In the English scoreboard, we have Dharma brother 易香。
谢谢大家参与，今天我们过了
谢谢
不错的。
谢谢你
Everyone for taking part in the games.
把这个频道再交回给上师。
我们又进入小节。
We now at a summary. Learning Tantrayana is the process of transforming oneself, starting from an ordinary being to one is in union with the Buddha. To be always in a state of union with Buddha means that all your merits and virtues are no different from the Buddha's, and therefore you and the Buddha are regarded as one. Frequently doing this visualization can generate mental power. There are many such visualizations in Tantrayana, and they are all very important. So the examples of visualizations include the six-syllable visualization, the Buddhist visualization, 入我我入 visualization, the 5 stages of attaining Buddhahood through visualization practice, and using 6 syllables as visualizations. The visualizations are all similar. I will explain a little bit about the 5 stages of attaining Buddhahood through visualization practice. So the 5 stages are understanding. First, understanding bodhicitta, that's the first stage. Understanding the 4 immeasurables. The second, and cultivating bodhicitta, the 4 immeasurables. So the first is understanding bodhicitta, 2, cultivating bodhicitta. The third, attaining a Vajramaya. The 4th is realizing the Vajra body. And the 5th, complete, perfect Buddhahood attainment.
这个五，我有念到吗？五字，还有五支成生观。
And there's also the 5 6 syllables. In the Vision Mandala, the visualization is called the 5 stages of attaining Buddhahood through visualization practice. But in the Womb Mandala, there's the visualization of the 5 elements arrayed in the body. This is the visualization of 5 6 syllables to attain Buddhahood. These visualizations are very important, and one needs to be detailed when visualization. One needs to be very detailed when visualizing and help to train up the cultivator gradually. So this visualization of the 5 elements is also known as the 5 elements stupa visualization.
绑的意思好像就是夫了，夫。第三个字是罗，第四个字
there are 5 syllables.
第五个字就是去，这五个字。
So there are 5 syllables.
身体之五个部位，庄严加持己身。
So there will be at 5, this 5 syllables, but at 5 different positions.
就很容易了解，就是用这个五轮塔观。
It's a visualization of the 5 element tower, 5 elements stupa. Sorry, I didn't get it. So the 5 different elements in the tower, 5 different parts, represent the earth, water, fire, earth, water, fire, earth, wind, water, fire, and the void. The 5 elements stupa visualization is
讲一个故事就结束今天的课程。那么3个星期呢
visualization of 5 elements array in the body. This is in the Womb Mandala.
它就变成
one more story.
这个就是说
I end the class. There's a story of 2 I mentioned about the story of the 2 stones where they go through trials and tribulations before they attain success. And I'm going to share a story about eagle. So the lifespan of an eagle is on average 70 years old. But when it's 40 years old, has to make a very difficult decision. Why? Because when the eagle is 40 years old, his claws, oh no, his beak, it has become very, has become bended and it's very long. And his claws are also very long and bended, and he's not able to grasp onto anything. And his feathers are also thick and heavy. So at 40 years old, the eagle has to make a very difficult decision. If he doesn't make a choice, he will have to wait for death to arrive, or he has to be reborn. So when he's 40, he will fly to the top of a mountain and make a nest. He will go through a long journey of he will go through a long transformation, first of breaking his beak so that it will grow again. And when this when this beak is regrown, he will use the beak to remove the claws. And once the claws are regrown, he will have to pluck out all the feathers he will have to pluck out all the feathers on his body. He will go through this transformation for 150 days, and it's very painful. And after this 150 days, he's able to fly high in the sky again. is able to live on for another 30 years. I am sharing this story because I want to tell you that there are many, we are like the eagle at times. We have choices. Do you want to be an ordinary being or a saint? It's your choice. It's just like the eagle. Do you want to die or do you want to live? So there are many fellow disciples. They have they're virtuous roots. They know the true Buddha Tantra. Just a story related just now when one of them met with a very dejected situation. He made the choice to take refuge in Great Master and cultivate the true Buddha Tantra. So this is his rebirth. When you choose the rebirth route, you will have to go through this long journey and eliminate all unwholesome propensity. So this is also cultivation. When you choose to take the path of cultivation, you have to understand this reason. When you cultivate, it can be quite lonely. So this is a journey one has to go through if you choose this path. Because people can't cultivate on your behalf, you have to do this cultivation yourself. A grandmaster can only give us, transmit the Buddha Dharma. Whether we want to cultivate or not is entirely up to us. So this is my last story for this lesson. I wish everyone abundance wisdom. Master Lianyi, for your exciting deliverance of the class, we understand entering the most basic method for entering the samadhi, Ru Wo Wo Ru, and the techniques. The stories are all very exciting. It's imprinted in our me and has given us inspirations. So to have the Great Master guided into the Buddha Dharma, that was the last story we heard. So we must be diligent. Cultivation is personal, it's on your own. If you have any questions, we welcome you to turn on your mic to share them. We have 3 questions for last week which we need to answer.
你那边有问题那个3个问题吗？不如我们先跟大家分享这3个问题好吗？
问题。
First question, there are 3 questions from this week. The first question, when visualizing the void, we visualize the appearance of the moodies, which gradually becomes bigger and we become bigger as well. There is a 6th syllable inside the moondies. The disc rotates and become the main deity. Can you please explain the meaning behind this? Thank you. This meaning is what Master Lianyi has shared earlier. This is a secret of visualizing emptiness. That means your own inherent nature is a calm and tranquil. That means our inherent self is pure calm, pure, and clean. This visualization, the first visualization is
就是你做这个观空嘛，一直
So you're visualizing emptiness.
慢慢融入
You claim you.
这个就是一种自己边空，就是把
You visualize yourself becoming
放下嘛。
empty. That means you leave behind all phenomena.
这个就是联合上师所说的。那第三点呢？我个人发现一个小秘密这个应该是师尊。
I have discovered a small secret. A tantric practitioner has to visualize emptiness. You have to empty your thoughts. And in a mentory, you find that the Dharma flow went inside you because you have no more distracting thoughts. Your mind is clear. Basically means just stop thinking, it will be emptiness. Second question, during the 9 cycle breathing, do we need to roll our tongue to touch the palate and leave the anus? 提肛 I think but if you are doing the 9 cycle breathing exercise, you don't need to do this to if you're doing the treasure vessel practice, you need to roll your tongue to touch the palate and leave the anus. Question 3. Dharma sisters asks, Master, when using liquor to make an offering to the Dharma protectors, how should we pray?
每天你供养护法很简单啊，你就护法就是守护行者嘛，你就可以祈祷祈求护法。
The Dharma protectors protects you. You just pray to Dharma protectors to protect you, that your day will be safe daily, and including to protect your cultivation so that it will be smooth. After you have offered the liquor, you can drink it. Otherwise, you can just dip your finger and drink and just take a drop of the liquor. This is to connect you with the Dharma protectors, to create a wholesome affinity with a Dharma protector. Thank you for answers. I think there are some more questions from the chat group, but because of the time, we will collect all these questions and we will answer them during our next lesson. So this is the end of the class. We'd like to remind everyone that we're going to have the second homework review on June 16th. And PR Director, Master Lianyi, will be reviewing the homework. And gentle reminder to everyone to submit your reports if you have not done so. Let's invite Master Lianyi to make for concluding. Let's put our palms together and thank pay homage to the living Buddha Lianshen. Thank you for compassionately blessing us with light. And the class is auspiciously delivered. And thank you, Master Chen Zhu, Master Lian He, Master Lian Jia, Master Lian Fei. Thank you to all masters, the reverends, Dharma instructors, the hosts, all counselors, all interpreters, dear Lian, all DAs, and everyone who joined the class today. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Gratitude to Master Lin for delivering the class.
感恩莲鹤上师人家莲飞上师
To
的陪伴。
everyone who make the class possible. Thank you very much.
感恩丽妍助教的小程序分享，感恩翠芳助教在幕后操控电脑，感恩秋英助教制作了 PPT 播放 PPT， 感恩婚丽助教做印尼文翻译，也感恩一家助教做英文翻译，感恩丽丽助教每周写宣传稿，也感恩美游助教每周帮忙做宣传，感恩幕后所有默默付出的工作人员。 感恩每
You
位
the team who make this lesson possible.
我们下周再见。
See you next week. Thank you and bye bye.
拜拜，再见，谢谢莲姨上师，
阿弥陀佛，莲上师，
谢谢
感恩你，
阿弥陀佛，再
谢
见，
谢莲姨上师主持，非常棒啊！下次见，拜拜。
拜，謝謝，感恩靈益上師受過，
陀佛，谢谢大家，
谢谢阿弥陀佛，
阿弥陀佛，
再见，再见，
再見，下次見咯，拜拜，
谢谢佛力主教，阿弥陀佛。
拜。